Hello everybody, Keppel Reit buys back shares. I think this is an extremely good move by this REIT. Quite surprised by the move because normally you don't see REITs spending cash to buy units, right? Most of the time units will be issued by the REIT manager to get cash, right? So actually this is a very very good move by Keppel Reit. I really like it. Applaud the manager for taking such actions in these times. So look at the what's happening, right? It started this week actually, 21st of March, and for the past 4 days, it has been doing share buybacks. So around 3.5 million, 3.5 million, 1.5 million, and then 1 million at the range of around 85.5 to 87 cents. So trading way below book, right? And pretty much back to where it was in late last year, where I started buying the units. So I talked about the purchases over here. I quite like the REIT actually. I think the distressed prices that it's trading at is not correct. So look at the past 4 days. In total, they bought 9.5 million shares already. So roughly around this range, around 85.5 to 87 cents. It doesn't really matter because it's just insanely cheap, right? And quite interesting. They also detailed that the units that purchased will be cancelled. So it will not be held as treasuries, right? It will be cancelled. So the share base will be reduced, and therefore it's going to be very accretive from an NAV and DPU perspective. Look at the NAV is 1.34. So this levels, right? And if you think the DPU is around 5.9 cents, the share price is trading at 0.65 a book, at 6.8% dividend yield. Actually, at these levels, the manager is very right to buy back his own shares because it's gonna give an immediate boost to the NAV. So NAV will actually go up because you're purchasing units below book, right? By in this move, so they buy back their own shares, NAV goes up. And because you're investing your capital in the instrument that gives you 6.8% yield, actually this type of yield is much higher than any of the assets can actually generate. So actually, why go and buy other assets, other properties, and go all this risk? Get all this risk. Just buy back your own units, right? And it's DPU accretive already. But then you know that the manager will not spend too much money to do that, because at the end of the day they need to grow their AUM also. But nonetheless, doing a decent size of share buybacks and the right price is actually very beneficial for unit holders and for the manager as well, because if you display such moves, it instills confidence, and therefore then the share price will actually go up, and the manager has a much stronger unit price as currency to purchase other things in the future. So actually it's good for everybody that they do it. So this is a very good move by the manager. I hope they continue. The bigness of the office REITs in Singapore continues. So you look at the comparison between Keppel Reit, Sunteck, and CapitaLand Integrated. You can see actually the standout performer, which really surprised me actually, is Sunteck Reit. Look at the Sunteck Reit. For the year to date, it's actually up 3%, which is really surprising. Because if you look at what's happening, the balance sheet is a bit stretched. The office dynamic seems to be affecting everybody, because I think everybody is just concerned about the work from home scheme. And I think recently the share price took a beating for Keppel Reit and CICT. I think what's happening might be due to the concerns about the banking crisis, and therefore whether or not to be a downsizing by the banking tenants as well. Well, I think it's a bit I guess that's a bit of a concern, but nonetheless, Singapore is still a very strong financial hub, right? I think it will be one of the last places for the banks to downsize their requirements significantly. There might be some downsizing here and there, but I think the overall absorption should be quite decent. But nonetheless, you can see that the Sunteck REIT has really outperformed both Keppel Reit and CICT. But if you look at what's happening with CICT and Keppel Reit, both are down like 5 plus 6% for the year, right? Year to date. So actually, this is not idiosyncratic sell off by Keppel Reit only. Both of the REITs are exposed to offices and commercial assets are also affected. But nonetheless, Sunteck REIT really outperformed. Really surprised. But nonetheless, I think there's a limit to how much shares that the manager can buy back, because they also committed to 100 million of cash to be distributed over the next 5 years, right? So well, it's not like there's a lot of cash on the balance sheet, but nonetheless, I think there's still around 200 million of cash on the balance sheet as of end of December 22. So 100 million to be distributed, and there's still a bit of a room for shares to be bought back. So pretty good way of doing it, right? Returning cash to shareholders through dividends, and then also share buybacks. A bit like what the tech companies in the US is doing. quite like the new CEO though. Co-really appointed in December 21. Actually, I'm quite familiar with him because previously he was the CEO of AIMS APAC, and I bought a lot of the REITs last year, right? And actually the before as well. I quite like how he handled the AIMS APAC. And if you look at since taking over Keppel Reit and the distribution and the share buyback currently executed, I think this guy is quite a good guy actually. Quite impressed with what he's doing. So hopefully he continues with his success with Keppel Reit as well. So well, let's see what happens in the coming future. But it looks good actually.